Good morning, everybody. Me and Boba are out here hiking, just trying to find a good spot to lay down my yoga mat so we can lead you through my daily warm-up routine. This routine, the duration of the movements change each day depending on what I need, but I still run through the majority of these movements every single day, every workout, before I begin my strength training portion. So no matter what, I warm up every day. Like even if I'm training legs, I'm still warming up my entire body. So I'm gonna warm it all up. I'm gonna express my end ranges, and I'm gonna get nice and limber for my workout or my strength training. Even if I'm doing mobility, I still do these movements, but it's gonna be a follow along, which I know you guys will like, so that you can actually watch and do it with me. And of course, some of these movements are going to be too advanced, but that's not to say that you can't do modifications so that one day you can do them. You'll be closer to being like me and being able to do these movements if you actually try some variation of these movements than if you don't try them at all, right? So if there's a part that you can't do, don't get discouraged. Be empowered. You now have a goal. You now have something to work towards, and that is really fulfilling. If you could just do it easy, then it's like there's no challenge and it's really not worth the reward. So having goals and things to work towards and inspiration is way better. Also, if you want to see more of mine and Boba's cute little faces doing some workouts, please hit like down below or subscribe or leave a comment. We really appreciate it. Thank you. So let's go ahead and keep hiking and find a good spot to film this. It's really bright and it's really beautiful. For this warm-up, you will really just need yourself and something to help stabilize you, whether it's a broomstick, a table, a chair, something to hold onto, a wall maybe. I have really advanced balance, so I was able to do this whole workout without needing some sort of stabilization device. But if this is the first time you're doing it, I highly recommend having that broom or dowel or something. So you can worry more about your alignment than actually finding your balance. The balance will come with practice and repetition. And then if you're particularly inflexible, you might want to have some yoga blocks with you as well. So beginning by reaching our spine up really tall, we're going to do some spinal twists, always lengthening here. We're going to do 7 with our head turning. We're trying to keep our hips square. We're trying to create that twist in our spine, so we're anchoring our hips where they are and twisting with our head looking. And then for 7 with our head looking forward, because we want our head to move independently of our spine. Say like when you golf, you actually want your head to stay in one spot while you swing, so we're working towards that. We're going to go to the other side, do 7 with our head twisting, keeping our hips in place, and then 7 with our head in place. Moving lower down, going side to side, looking forward, keeping our hips in place so they're not twisting with us. And then doing some looking one way, and turning to the other side, looking that way and doing that twist, always lengthening and then twisting our spine. Now we're going to try and just move our hips one way while keeping our chest in one place, and then the other side. Now we're going to twist as far as we can. Our knees are not locked here, there's a slight bend in them, and we're just twisting. So we should get a little twist in that ankle as well. And this is where your dowel will come in handy to anchor you here. We're going to try and rotate just using our hip. So the whole rotation is coming from our hip. You might hear some cracking, some popping. That is okay. We're trying to rotate as much as we can. And I like to swap from a pointed toe to a flexed foot, just to engage different muscles. And the other side, starting with our pointed foot, rotating through our hip as much as we can, keeping our standing leg straight, and then changing to that flex foot and rotating. Back onto that other leg, we're gonna do this extension with our flex foot. You wanna fully extend up as high as you can, keeping that standing leg straight. Should take a lot of effort to fully extend. I have a slight pelvis tilt while doing these exercises. And now out to the side. Really focusing on our hip, trying to bring our knee up as high as we can. Flexed foot here. Trying to stay square so we're not twisting too much. And then doing those extensions, continuously fighting to get our leg up as high as possible without compromising that standing leg. Other side. Flex foot. Bring it up as high as possible with minimal twisting. Now pointed foot. And our extensions. You'll notice that one side is probably way better than the other, at least for me. We're gonna go back into flex foot, continually changing from pointed to flex foot. You'll notice it works different muscles. Do some ankle rotations. Go one way. Definitely a lot of cracking here for me. And then switch directions, always trying to get to that end range. That just means drawing as big of circles with your ankle as possible. And switching to the other side. And doing both directions. Now we're going to flex our feet and point them, flex and point, flex and point, flexing and pointing them as hard as you can, and doing some side to side too. Next up, we're going to roll our scapular, so we're moving our shoulders. We're making sure that our shoulders can glide freely. So the whole movement is coming from your shoulders here. Doing some pull downs. Keeping everything tight and engaged. We're doing this with intention, which means we're not just flopping around. We're actually trying to connect with our body, doing some little shrugs here. Then working on our shoulder rotation capacities, just seeing where we're at. So we're trying our best to keep our elbows in one place and then rotating from there. Core tight, legs tight, everything working. Then we're going to move up, trying to glide our shoulders in circles all the way up. Doing some shrugs here. And then again, moving our shoulders in a circle as we go down. For these Cossack squats, you don't have to go all the way down. Just go to where you're comfortable. Trying to make sure that your feet are remaining anchored. They're not really twisting. And you're really using your muscle to push you back up. So you'd be using your glutes to push you back up. Next, we're going to do some leg swings, trying to swing our leg up as high as we can, but with control. So we want to control it up there. We're not just swinging, we are controlling the movement. So at that top, I'm really thinking about pushing my hip up higher. We're doing this again with intention. We're not just swinging randomly. Next, getting onto all fours and again working on our hip rotation. We have flex feet here. And we're trying to rotate as much as we can. So we're trying to find the highest point that our hip can actually rotate and maintaining there. Then we are going to do some extensions. This should take a lot of effort, really. Keeping that leg up as high as we can. I know you're getting tired. Keep doing it. And then switch onto the other side. I realize now that I rotated in 2 different directions, so don't be like me. Make sure you rotate in the same direction and do both directions too if you have time. And then we're going to do those extensions again, trying to lock out our knee and keep our leg up as high as possible. And then come back to standing and we're going to go back to our Cossack squats. But we're going to glide across. And yours might not be as low as mine, and that is totally fine. Make sure that you're anchoring your feet, so you're actually putting weight in your feet so that you can transition over. Take a look at how my feet are positioned compared to how your own feet are positioned. If you want an extra challenge, you can bring your arms overhead. This definitely makes it harder. Now I'm going to sit back and come back up. And check out what my foot is doing on my extended leg. It is really anchoring itself, so there's weight there for me. And you might not be able to do this. You could do it where you put a yoga block behind you and you sit down on that yoga block and come up off of it. Find a way to do some variation so that you can get to this point one day. Working on it in some variation is better than not working on it at all, right? We're going to get closer to our goals that way. Okay, so this next one, you really want to make sure your back foot is helping out. It is anchored there. Will help to have a dowel or something to help you balance here. So I'm pushing forward and then I'm locking out on that back position, really focusing on my hips. So on that forward position, I'm pushing my pelvis forward. Okay, now things are about to get a little bit tricky. Keep your feet where they are and lean back. And remember, you can sit on a yoga block. You don't have to go as low as me. And here I'm practicing get-ups. I'm not powerful enough to do this without my hand. So I'm using my hand here to help me build that strength. All my weight is in that bent leg. When I push up, I'm trying to transfer all that weight to that leg so that one day that leg can actually help me stand up when in that position. So push the weight onto that leg and help yourself back down. Next, we're going to lift up that straightened leg, and it's not really going to lift up very far, but you'll feel it working if you give this a try. I lifted up for 25 reps here. Here, I'm just forcing more weight into that bent leg, really trying to push it down into the ground. And coming back to our Cossack squat and transferring over to the other leg, anchoring that back foot and really pushing through my hips and getting that lockout. So in that position there, I'm pushing forward, and in that position, I'm pushing back. Try and keep your hips even with each other so you're not opening up to one side. Now we're going to twist over again. And again, helping ourselves push the weight into that bent leg, really pushing through our foot, using our quads here, and lowering down as slowly as possible. Again, sitting on a yoga block or something if you need it. And again, finding a seat down there. Feel free to sit on a yoga block, whatever works. And begin lifting up that extended leg for 25 reps. My leg on this side isn't as strong, so it's not really lifting that far off the ground. but I'm still developing new pathways to control my leg. So even if it's not coming off the ground, I'm still developing strength. And then doing our lean forwards where we're putting all the weight in that bent foot. We're really pressing down into the ground. We're learning how to control ourselves in that position. And then coming back to standing with our legs wide. And we're going to straighten, bend down, and straighten. Keep going. Okay, now lower yourself onto your mat that hopefully doesn't have a bunch of sharp rocks underneath it like mine does. And we're going to work on swimmers. So our whole body's engaged, our legs are tight, our forehead is on the ground. We're going to rotate from the shoulders. You might feel some clicking here again. Really rotating from the shoulders, trying to get our arms up as high as possible while keeping our legs engaged and our forehead on the ground. So basically everything should be squeezed here. And this should take a lot of work. We want to do it slow and controlled and really try and get our arms up as high as possible. Taking a little rest at that top, extending again, and going back. Keep your forehead on the ground. And again. Keep going. Let's get your arms up as high as possible on this one. Now coming up to all fours. Notice my feet are participating in this. They are anchoring me down. My wrists are under my shoulder blades, and I'm going to start doing some cat camel to get my spine warmed up for this. And then I'm going to start segmenting my spine. So I'm trying to move each vertebrae individually, starting from the bottom up to the top and cycling through. And there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed that warm up and you're nice and ready for your strength training. Hope you learned some new things and have some new goals to work towards as well. Please hit like and subscribe. Boba and I here are all nice and warm for the rest of our hikes. We're gonna get going. Follow me on Instagram, summerfunfitness_, and please hit like and subscribe and comment what next video you want because I have none on the to-do list. So give me something to film for you. Come here, Bo. Come say bye. Say bye. Bo says bye. Ready? Jump. Good jump, Bo.